Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to the first episode of the Barbershop. I am your host, Josh DeMonica, and today, inshallah, we're going to be talking about social media. Why are we going to be talking about social media? Well, social media has a major impact on our lives right now. It can bring us good and it can bring us bad. So without further ado, we're going to go straight into this discussion. Well, let's talk about social media at the moment and how, there's so much negative and there's so much positive use of social media. Bro, why did you change your Instagram name recently?
I actually deleted my previous Instagram, which was Fresh Fade UK.
Why was that?
A couple of reasons. Obviously, that was the brand I was trying to create.
Okay.
Self-branding. But I let it get a bit too personal.
Okay.
So everything that was happening
How do you mean
in my
personal? How do you mean personal? Like, what would you
What was happening in my personal life, basically.
Okay.
I'd end up posting quotes that weren't relevant to the business I'm promoting.
All right. So you kind of went from a personal view to a more business view.
Yeah. Recently. Obviously, managing to actually separate my personal life from my business life. And I found it actually helps as well with just day-to-day life, your outlook, shall I say, and how you actually use social media.
Okay, so you kind of changed your thoughts, your mindset really, in terms of going from a personal account to more business account.
Yeah.
Because what we see a lot of people nowadays exposing themselves, shall we say. A lot of people sort of, posting more about themselves rather than maybe their work or something in our industry. Yeah,
definitely.
Which is kind of like to almost like a fame perspective, innit? I mean, what do you think about that, Johnny?
Yeah, I totally agree with that, really. So obviously, a lot of social media is basically advertisement. So the way I look at it, before I was really heavily into the barber scene. I'd obviously advertising myself, but not with any sort of skill set or passion for work. Just advertising myself with my clothing, the way I dress, So I guess when I really sort of got into barbering, you almost do want to sort of use that to advertise your business and your skill set, rather than, really like advertise.
Sure. So obviously, like when you say you put like pictures of yourself up, your new clothes and that, obviously there's people out there, we've got to consider that, haven't got what you've got, for example. So, what we could be attracting, if you like, or, what we could be seeing is people becoming jealous. Do you know what I mean? When a lot of people post food, for example, like nice food, you see the nice platters, just, presented really nice. People post food nowadays on Instagram. But there's people out there who can't even eat food, So it's like a...
I think it comes down to intention, because if you're posting, if you've got a business or you've got a brand that you want to promote, and your intention is to promote the business, to promote the brand, to use it for your means, for your business to survive, I think that's fine. It's when you have your intention of you want to let everyone know the latest thing you've purchased or the latest place you've visited.
What you were saying about intentions, man, it's actually true.
Yes, so true, man. I think it comes down to really you can get a lot of positives out of social media. I've seen people really sort of do fantastic through social media, pushing their business, pushing their brand, but I've also seen a lot of people sort of make a bit of a fool of themselves and even like sort of let it take over their life. I mean, a couple of years ago I had an Instagram account I ended up deleting because I checked my intention. I realised the amount of time I was spending on it, what I was using it for, nothing really good. It wasn't really any good, so I ended up deleting it. I was off it for about a year or so. Recently come back to it because I have a little bit of personal stuff on it, but it's more just sort of building brand and just let people to know sort of who I am. But again, I always, everything I post, I do check my intention before I post it.
I think, I've had a really humbling amount of growth on Instagram. And for me, I've seen it as a really, really positive, But at the same time, it's always been about my work. Like it's always, you'll never see a picture of me with a new watch or new trainers or just a picture of me in general. Like it's always me at work or my actual artistic work. That's what you'll see. So my intentions are always to either to inspire people or to just grow my business because I need a living. Okay, I've got to work a living. So for me, it's important that I develop that business side of, you know, the platform, if you like. But there are people that have an ego on Instagram and they try to express themselves with things, you know, that they buy and they want people to see. So, you know, there's two ways of looking at it really. We have the beauty of business and pushing forward to earn a living, and then there's obviously, you know, just people, you know, overexposing themselves, if you like. I mean, how's it for you in business now? Obviously, you've changed your account from having something quite personal to now actually focus more on your business. I've seen you grow in the short amount of time that you've actually developed on your business.
It's had a major positive impact. Not just, I wouldn't say with just the business side of things, but personally, my outlook on life, my social presence, shall I say, as well. So I can actually be within social circles and not think, oh yeah, is someone going to say something about my last Instagram post because it's a bit dark and gloomy, a bit personal. It's because it's strictly work and work related, like you said with yours. It's boosted my business and also my friendships within the industry that we're in.
Have you found the same thing as well, Johnny? Obviously, you've sort of had a small change as well. And you know, I used to look at your Instagram before you started with us, and I see pictures of you on holiday, you know, in this place and that place, and it's nice, you know, it's good. Now I just see work. So how's it affected you? I mean, how do you feel about not posting so much of yourself, you know, doing bits yourself, like being on holiday, being out with your friends and whatnot?
Yeah, basically, similar to what Sam was saying about intention, I feel like, you know, when Instagram really sort of started becoming big, you really feel like you want to sort of post pictures of yourself and express your individuality of yourself because everybody else is doing it. You know, and you almost like realising you're following what everybody else is doing. And I feel like especially if you don't have a good skill set or a passion for anything, the only thing you have is yourself, and you can express yourself and what you're doing. So I just feel like, you know, amazing opportunity came and getting into barbering really gave me the opportunity to express my passion for barbering, you know, and not just myself. And my passion for hair, and really sort of lift that up and get people to be inspired by what I do, not just who I am.
Yeah, that's good, man.
Do you know, what benefits do you get from Instagram?
The thing is, I was going to say, yeah, see, social media, it's social though. So when you're saying that intention, why you're using it, the main focus behind social media is to be social, so you're putting stuff out there for people to see. Depends on what you use it for, it doesn't really matter, but I feel like with my Instagram and like with what I do with work and stuff, yeah, I feel like my Insta has to be a little bit personal as well, because I feel like when you just do strict like to one side, whereas like it could just be business focused, just hair cut focus, yeah, you're going to attract a lot of people for that thing, but I would rather attract people that are more personal to myself.
Like people want to know you almost,
yeah,
but
exactly. So
yeah.
I don't have to give them too much, because
Sure.
now I don't post as much as I used to
Yeah,
myself, but you want them to know kind of who you are, what you're about, because I don't want, do you know what I'm saying, I don't want just certain randoms coming in for a trim and then you have nothing to talk about. I'd rather have a little bit of a personal relationship with that person.
So how would you decide what's suitable to post for them? You want the people to know what you're about, what kind of person you are.
Yeah.
How would you then choose the pictures you're posting?
How do I choose?
Good question.
It would literally, with social media myself, I post what I want you to see. So if I want you to see me on holiday, I want you to see me out with my friends, that's because I wanted you to see it. So just that bit aside, but I wouldn't put, like, I don't put like family on there and stuff like that, because I don't feel like anybody from social media needs to know that much about me.
For sure. So you do keep things private, obviously, still.
More private, but I do think like you should have, it depends on what you want to do, what you want to achieve from it. But I feel like when you have like a little bit of personal on there, you're going to attract the people that like those sort of things, and then you've got more to talk about when you're trimming. And so it all depends.
Cool.
Really.
Let's talk about how much time we spend on social media, because we've seen the growth from MSN. I don't know about you lot, but I used to come straight from school, hit the MSN, and that's me till 10 o'clock. Skipper
number 5.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's me.
Yeah, skipper number
So,
5.
and I'm pretty sure like most of us here have probably experienced some of that, if not MySpace. Yeah, I didn't have a MySpace, but I'm sure Bebo, yeah. And now it's the top hitters. What, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, man.
Snapchat's deadly, bruv.
Bro, I don't
Snapchat
have
is deadly.
Snapchat, but surely someone here can talk about Snapchat. That's a time consumer.
Janelle,
I've seen.
use Snapchat daily.
Yeah.
What do you get from it? Let me ask you that question. What do you get from
Be honest,
using your
be
Snapchat?
honest.
I'll be deadly serious. When it comes to things like Snapchat, Instagram, yeah. At first, when you first jump on it, it is just a hype. You love it because you can see what everyone's doing. I think as you go through the motions, you kind of turn away from wanting to watch what everyone else is doing and maybe watching just your people. Because when I first had it, it was add as many people as you can, trying to chuck band out left, right, and centre. They knew someone could watch my Snapchat and know where I was the whole day until I've gone to my bed. But now, I feel like as I grow up a little bit, I don't really want everyone to do as much, but I still like the fact or the option that you can kind of look and see what people are on. But I don't. Yeah, it's one of those. So Snapchat, Insta, it's a dangerous game. It takes a lot of time. Like
A lot of time, man.
the amount of time that you use on your phone nowadays.
You know, it's funny. I see you can see people on road, and you know when they're doing that, you know what's going on, don't you?
Yeah,
You know what's going on.
Pokemon, or they're on Snapchat.
Yeah,
For sure.
Literally.
One of the two.
Basically,
So it's quite time consuming, really. Isn't it? It's takes a lot of time. You put a lot of thought into it, would you say?
What when I use it?
Yeah, Snapchat, Instagram. Is it
I
on
really
your
have
mind
to.
a
Do you,
lot?
know
Or?
do you know what they've done though with Snapchat and Insta? Yeah? Do you know what they've done? They've made it a thing that it's like it feels like you're not doing it, but you're doing it so much. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
Like people are Snapchatting day in day out, location services, everything's on. Anybody can find you, but because it's part of your day to day, you don't see it as that.
Of course.
what
It's-
about
it's
this? What about
strange.
this selfie mode? Everything's a selfie nowadays, isn't it?
Yeah. I don't want to go too deep, but I reckon there's so much more behind it. Why there's so much like social media's too
Yeah,
much.
talk, bro. Talk.
Like what?
Be honest.
I don't know.
I see.
Do you know what? When you first had social media, yeah, it wasn't so much about taking pictures and finding out where you were. Like everything now is where is it,
Yeah.
where it was posted,
Yeah.
like
What food are you eating?
exactly where you had that food. Like you can get that quickly. That's too much
Mm.
information. I feel like I don't want to get too deep, but I feel like it's more
imposing.
to it. Like
Sorry to cut you
Go
off.
on.
It is imposing
Yeah.
on your everyday life. So, like, almost as if you had a nagging wife at home that'd be ringing you every like 10, 15 minutes of the day. Where are you now? What are you doing? That's what the phone and social media does now. It's because of location. Because all right, tag this, tag that. You're tagging that you're in a certain place with certain people. It takes control.
Johnny, you got Snapchat?
I do have Snapchat.
You got Snapchat?
Yeah, I do have.
True. I never see you on your phone as much as I do some people as well. So how do you control that? Like, is it just something like that you've got discipline in yourself? Because I rarely see you on your phone in comparison to other people in the salon and that.
Yeah, I guess it's a little bit of a discipline.
Or you just got no friends?
I think like Simon said about the control. If you let it take control, before you know it, you're serving your phone and you're serving social media, and before you know it, that actually becomes your religion. Is to be upon this phone and do everything you can on this phone all the time. So before you know it, you're worshipping your phone. Everything is your phone. And you just take it.
You become enslaved to
Enslaved to your
almost
phone.
fame and popularity.
Of
as
course, non-stop. You wake up early in the morning, you check it.
Yep.
Before you go to sleep, you check it.
4 in the
And then,
morning
like,
you check
non-stop. You wake up in the middle of the night, you check it.
Go to sit on the toilet. You take your phone with you.
it. Yeah,
Of course.
It's
You spend-
long gone are the days where you take in a magazine or a book.
yeah, it's true.
It's everything is phone, tablet, laptop.
And when it ever happens that your battery dies when you're out, those times when you've got no phone, suddenly, I'm naked. What's happened? Why do I feel like
you feel like you,
I'm
you
missing
just
an arm? I'm
spent
missing-
your last pound?
Of course.
Yeah.
So yeah, the power of the phone and the social media, what it has on us is remarkable.
But I think they do that for a reason.
Why do you think?
It's distractions, isn't it?
From
media is a massive distraction.
From
Yeah,
what?
for
But
sure.
media it was media first because it was TV.
But why do you think they're
TV.
doing that though? Why do you
Distraction
think they're trying
from
to
what?
take us away from what?
I don't
Being
know.
creative,
Maybe.
playing out on the road.
Probably.
Taking us
No,
away
like-
from our reality, in a sense.
Yeah.
There you go. So basically what we see on Instagram is almost a fantasy. You know, you're probably seeing people who hire cars, for example,
Yeah.
when really it's not their car, but they want to make it look like it's theirs and it's their life, when really it's a fantasy. you know, you go and see them in real life, and they're living just the same as all of us, really.
Their Bentley's turned into a Micro.
Yeah,
Of course.
Yeah,
Their
basically.
Rolex turned into a Casio.
What
Like,
about you? You're single?
Yeah.
Single? So you,
Yeah.
do you ever find that you build relationships with women on the Instagram?
No,
Nah.
no. Because a lot of what people portray isn't that them as they are in person.
Sure.
So where
Filters.
Regardless of filters, makeup, contouring, all that stuff, that's how they portray themselves to the world.
Like the amount of
Behind
times
closed doors, they could be a complete different
Different
person. They
person.
could actually be very reclused.
Mm.
They could suffer from social anxiety, depression. Like that could all be a front. Just say, yeah, I'm here. I'm still alive.
Yeah.
So I can relate to that big time. I mean, I spent a long time building up my Instagram and my social media, and what I was putting on my Instagram wasn't all necessarily related to work. It was a lot of stuff that was, you know, almost like a shrine to myself and making myself look like this, you know, powerful, happy person with everything going for me. When actually in my personal life and in my mind, I couldn't have been weaker. And in the last year and a half, I've tried really hard to make sure that everything I do post, you know, is a real reflection of myself. Because it's very, very easy to make yourself look like you know, like you've got everything going for you. You can have, you know, all the material things. But really, if you know, my mind is in such a, you know, it's a weak place.
That goes for a lot of people because
Yeah.
your Instagram account or your Twitter, or whatever the account is, you can make it however you want. You can put whatever name there, you can use whatever pictures you want, you can do whatever you want. So what you're doing is you're building yourself within an internet page.
An alter ego.
An alter ego, and it is an ego, and you want to make it look good. Naturally, as humans, we want to portray a good image. We want people to think good of us, that that we're good people, not necessarily successful, but we're good people, good decent people. So we have the power to portray ourselves any way we want, and I think a lot of people maybe take that the wrong way and then end up portraying themselves something they're not, and before they know it, their Instagram is not even them. It's kind of like an ego they built, and they kind of, you meet the amount of people I've spoken to online, I've met them in real life, and it's almost like it's not even the same person, appearance-wise and personality-wise and character-wise. They portray themselves as a certain something, and you meet them, you're like, really? What's up? It's because obviously you made your judgment, you've made your opinion on the person judging from their Instagram, because that's how you know of them. You go on it, you think, okay, cool, this guy or this girl, You meet in real life, it's not the case.
I think as well the desire to try and buy these material things as well has increased so much. Like we always see new pair of trainers, fresh trainers on Instagram. We see maybe new car, new watch, and it makes us want these things more and more and more and more. So when we don't get them, then we find ourselves in a state of unhappiness and why can we never achieve that? This man's got that, this man's got that, and I'm finding it hard to even get that. So I think when we see social media as well, it can be a strong desire and urge to try and fulfill that person or be that person that we see daily on Instagram as well.
Yeah, but all of that's down to your mind, though. You can't really blame social media.
It's subliminal though, isn't it? It's subliminal because you see it and you know in the back of the mind you think, oh, I see that on social media, I should get one of them. Then I can post myself.
That's the whole point of it. It's all, like you're saying, distractions and think about it. So all a massive distraction.
It's planting a seed,
From what?
which then manifests, and then obviously it's down to you. All right, you think, cool, I've just seen the new Calvin Klein watch on TV. That seed's been planted in your mind.
So just going back to the intention, it being clean for your business, etc. Let's talk about the intention of, maybe the persons that created social media moving forward. Yeah, and what do you think? This is a brainwave. What do you think their intention was when they started like Instagram?
Are you saying there's more to it than just having a social media that you could be social with people? I think there's more to it.
I think there's obviously a balance between good and bad and positives and negatives. I'm just thinking, I want to put a question out to everyone here. Just say, what do you think that person that made, let's say, Instagram, what do you think their intention was?
I don't think they even, when I feel like think about things like this, I don't think people have intentions to do bad or good, maybe. So from the beginning, like, you might start something, it was just a good idea, it took off, and then things like money comes into it, and then it's like, okay, so how are we going to generate more money? How are we going to keep it pushing? So then it starts a competition, you have to do something against somebody else's social media, and then to make yours bigger than theirs, do you know what I'm saying? So like, say for example, you got Snapchat was probably just a good idea, oh, wouldn't it be easier if we could just send pictures all the time? Oh yeah, let's made an app, and then they've got someone else in it. They're like, oh well, you're making this much money. I could give you this much if you put my little bit of advert in there. And now it turns into something like that's not a good intention anymore. Do you know what I'm saying? So now it's like someone's pushing. I don't know how to explain it. Someone's pushing money into it. And now it's not just Snapchat anymore. It's Snapchat and that person, and then another person's doing it.
I've got two good examples. Check this out. So I met a guy called Nasir in Australia, who's the streets barber. Yeah, probably know him, right?
Yeah.
And he's someone that's doing good of Instagram. Yeah, he's going around the streets cutting homeless man's hair. Yeah. Now I've seen people do the same thing. So you can see how that goodness has spread by this Instagram. Alternatively, what I've seen as well, I've seen a post, someone posted a picture of a haircut, and bless the young lad, he had a little bit of acne. I was reading the comments, and bro, I saw some nasty comments.
Yeah, a lot of evil can come from these posts, especially with personal things like that. I've seen many times. I've read through comments, and generally, they're generally is positive, but you do get the odd person who, when they're sitting behind the computer screen or behind the phone screen, they just start bullying people. And they get on a high horse and they just start bullying people because they're behind the phone, behind the computer. And the amount of comments I've read, really evil, nasty comments, and it has an effect on people. There's you hear stories about people who commit suicide, take their own life from bullying online on social media. But even close to me on some of the Instagrams that I run, you go through it, like Josh was saying. Some of the negative comments, someone actually took time out of their day to write something negative, which there's no goodness in it whatsoever. It's not a positive, that's not like a positive way or criticising something. It was pure negative, it was personal, it was evil. And people have to understand, these comments, they have an effect on people, deep. It can cut people deep. And you hear horrible things happen, about people bullying, people taking their own lives. Destroying people's lives. So we can talk about the positive business aspect of it, but generally I've seen through my days of using social media, I've seen a lot of evil come from it as well.
Yes.
So basically, I had a customer a long time ago in my chair who was getting bullied via Facebook, bullied in school, and bullied via Facebook, and he actually attempted to take his own life. And from that's where I became more aware of the power of all this, like the evil power that. People, they're hiding behind a computer screen while they're doing it, or hiding behind the phone.
Of course.
Whereas I think, as a face-to-face interaction, it wouldn't be as harsh. They wouldn't actually be as harsh with what they say, whether it's verbal or physical. I think it's down even in relationships as well. People like through Snapchat. I've seen dudes Snapchat their girlfriends when they've posted a picture on Snapchat of a selfie of how they're looking. And they're absolutely laid into them. And I think I've noticed it's taken a big turn, because when I was younger using social media, no one was actually bullying. A lot of it was to try and, you're just meeting new people, and you're finding people who are interested in the same things. So there was that balance at one point, but I think the evils are actually outweighing the goods of it now.
Okay, just to wrap it up real quick. Obviously, we noticed that there's good and bad points. Okay, we've seen the rise of Instagrams and Facebooks and social media, and I think from the overview, I think what is taken out of us is that we're not able to really think for ourselves. From the time of Tamagotchi to Instagram to Snapchat, everything we see is always through a screen. It's always someone else's. Bits and bobs in life, rather than if we put all that to one side and we just took ourselves, to maybe amongst our friends at dinner or whatever, playing football in the park. We're creating thoughts by ourselves. We're not always institutionalized by what we see on a screen, and that's where the youth are today. We're not so far off it, but we know that people that are 10 years younger than us today see everything through a screen, and there's no creativity left.
But you have to remember that social media is ours. We're in control of it. It's not in control of us. So whatever you get, with things like negative comments that you get on Insta or whatever, or people bullying, you have to remember that it's your screen. It's your page. You're in control of who can see it and who can't. And I feel I don't want to be unsympathetic, because obviously loads of people, people's mindsets are different.
Sure.
And they don't know how to do certain things when people try and get at them. But we as proper social media, we should remember that if someone does something and we don't like it, you can hit the block button and you can delete them.
The damage is still done. I think the damage is still done quite often.
Yeah,
if someone says something nasty, it's like, wow, someone's just attacked me. I can block them now, but I'm hurt by that.
Sure.
The seed has been planted. If someone says something bad and you didn't really think of it like that before, and now you're thinking about it, yeah, it's true. But you have to stay in control.
If you stay in control, I think the important thing is you stay in control. Like for instance, sometimes when I go on holiday, I'll delete certain apps off my phone, so social media apps, just so I'm not on it so much, because I know otherwise I'm going to be sitting there with extra time and I'm just going to spend my days on holiday when I'm supposed to be disconnecting from my worldly activities to have a nice relaxing time with my family or whatever, but I'm sitting there on my phone the whole time. So quite often I either put my phone to one side, delete certain apps, just to have that break. But even then I'm sitting there and it's niggling at me, something is niggling at me, go and check your Instagram or take a picture of that and post it. You're away, look how beautiful that looks. Do you know what I mean? It's niggle. So it's I'm empowered by myself by turning it off and putting it in the other room. Same time, I'm still weak in the sense that I want to check it. That's the level, I'm being honest, that's the level of the power of that phone and that social media has over me. I think about it when I'm awake all the time. Do you know what I mean? It's on me. So it is powerful.
It
I
becomes
feel
an
like
addiction.
when you go through like Facebook and Instagram and you're seeing sort of how the world is at the minute, it's almost like, wow, we really are in a crisis. But you know, the Chinese word for crisis is two symbols, and one of them means danger and one of them means opportunity. So I guess we understand that through all this there's a lot of evil and there's a lot of crisis, but at the same time there's also opportunity. Yeah. To the point where if you're spiritual and you believe in a God or something, that we actually have opportunity with this evil creation, we can actually spread the word.
I think you're right. I think again, you know, looking at this business perspective, you know, we can help inspire people. Look at Nasir, he's inspiring people by doing work for homeless. He ain't getting paid for it. He does it because he feels good. He does it because he wants to serve his Lord.
He was there himself as well.
That's
at
it.
one point.
That's it. He was.
Right.
Yeah.
And he was down and out, and he brought himself back up, you know, through the use of, you know, doing good work and exposing it so that other people can be encouraged to do so. And I think what you're saying is right. There's always opportunity. So, just real brief, what advice have you got to give to someone, you know, who spends their time on social media?
My main bit of advice is don't get caught up in the hype. Like don't get too wrapped up in what you see, with like the new Rolexes, the Bentleys, and just stick to being you. Be your organic self and continue on your own journey.
What would you say, Sam?
I'd say be careful about who you follow on social media, because you click on your social media and you'll say you're following a rapper or someone with a lot of money or certain females, etc. If you see something that can have an effect on you, it can play with you, that thought can play with you, and that thought can maybe lead you going down a certain path that you didn't really intend on going down, but because you've seen that picture on social media, the seed's been planted and you might end up doing, you know, you could click on it innocently and you could see that there's some girls that your friends know that have popped up on your page who are in Ibiza or Marbella. Before you know it, you've seen a picture of girls you don't know on holiday, and then that thought can then sort of lead to, you know, maybe it can lead into not great things. So just be aware of what you're looking at, be aware of who you follow, and remember the power that when you do look at certain pictures, what effect that can actually have on you for your day as well.
Cool. Well, thanks guys for coming. Until next time, when we, you know, host another chat show, we hope you will join us again. Nice one. Thank you very much. So we've just come to the end of the first episode of the Barbershop. We were discussing about social media and the benefits and the evils that it can bring. My advice to you out there is to be balanced and to be yourself and be inspired by following good people. And until next time, Assalamu alaikum.